Curiously, no one thought these songs would become hits until they ended up selling millions of copies around the world. From tracks born in the middle of a battlefield to songs that were not even in English and still managed to conquer America. Today, we're counting down the 10 best-selling songs of the 1960s, along with the fascinating stories behind them that very few people know. And keep an eye on number 1, because it wasn't just the biggest hit of the 60s, it also ranks among the best-selling songs of all time. Let's begin. Number 10, Can't Buy Me Love by The Beatles. In 1964, at the height of Beatlemania, the Beatles ruled the world. During a tour stop in Paris, the band stayed at the George V Hotel, where Paul McCartney wrote Can't Buy Me Love on a simple hotel piano.
Much for money, money can't buy me love.
Although the lyrics sparked different interpretations, Paul explained that the song was a critique of consumerism and an ode to true love. When George Martin heard it, he felt that it needed a stronger hook, so he suggested opening the song with the first lines of the chorus, shaping the unforgettable beginning we all know. By April 4th, 1964, all 5 of the top spots on the Billboard chart belonged to the Beatles, and this became their 3rd consecutive #1 single. With around 6 million copies sold worldwide, the song secured its place as an enduring classic. Even today, Can't Buy Me Love reminds us of something that will never go out of style. The most valuable thing in life, love itself, cannot be bought. Number 9, The Ballad of the Green Berets by Barry Sadler.
Fighting soldiers from the sky.
In 1966, amid the tensions of the Vietnam War, a completely unexpected song dominated the charts. Its creator was not a rock star, but Sergeant Barry Sadler, a member of the Green Berets, one of the U.S. Army's elite forces. Sadler had been wounded in combat, and footage of him singing to fellow soldiers in the hospital became the era's equivalent of a viral video.
100 men.
When he returned home, he recorded The Ballad of the Green Berets with RCA Records, and the impact was immediate. The song sold close to 9 million copies. It was an astonishing achievement for a solemn military song dedicated to those who gave their lives in Vietnam.
The Green Beret.
Today, it may seem like a forgotten song, but for those who lived through that decade, hearing it was like receiving news from the front lines. His appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show, with Sadler still in uniform, lifted the spirits of thousands of families, and that memory, as intense as it was deeply human, still lives on for many. Number 8, Hey Jude by The Beatles.
Hey Jude.
In 1968, the Beatles were moving toward the end of their journey. Internal tensions were growing, and the relationship among the members had become strained. Yet in the middle of that storm, one of the brightest songs in their history was born. Hey Jude.
Hey Jude.
Paul McCartney began writing it while driving to the Lennons' home, shortly after John and Cynthia announced their divorce. Paul was thinking about Julian, their son, a boy he genuinely cared for. He wanted to comfort him and stand by him, and that was when the first words simply appeared in his mind. The original title was Hey Jules. Although the credits read Lennon-McCartney, John never knew that those deeply personal lyrics were dedicated to his son. At 7 minutes and 11 seconds, the song sold more than 10 million copies and became the longest single ever to reach #1 on the Billboard chart. Perhaps that is why Hey Jude still moves us so deeply. Behind every chord is the sincere embrace Paul offered to a child who was about to watch his parents separate. If these stories are bringing back fond memories of those unforgettable years of rock, leave a like and subscribe to our channel, Millennium Rock, so we can keep traveling together through the greatest music of our lives. Let's continue. Number 7. A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. The story of this song begins with a simple phrase overheard in passing. At a party, Keith Reed heard a man tell a woman, referring to her complexion, that she had turned a whiter shade of pale. The line was as strange as it was poetic, and it stayed with him. When he got home, he wrote the lyrics without realizing that he was shaping one of the most important anthems of the 1960s. The music came later. Matthew Fisher and Gary Brooker built the melody around the inspiration of a Bach suite, creating the ethereal atmosphere that makes the song so distinctive. Recorded at Olympic Studios in London, it was released on May 12, 1967, and reached number 1 in the United Kingdom just 2 weeks later. A Whiter Shade of Pale sold more than 10 million copies and has been covered more than 1,000 times around the world. Even today, when we hear the song begin with that Hammond organ, many of us are carried back to the summer of love, to an era when music seemed capable of stopping the world for a moment. Number 6. I'm a Believer by The Monkees.
Then I saw her face.
I'm a Believer came from the pen of Neil Diamond, one of the most prolific songwriters of all time, with more than 130 million records sold. Diamond himself played rhythm guitar on the recording, while Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, and Peter Tork, the most beloved faces of the Monkees, provided the vocals. The rest of the instrumentation was handled by session musicians, a common practice at the time for television projects. The Monkees, after all, were not a typical band. They did not emerge from a garage, nor were they childhood friends. They were brought together through an NBC audition for a television series designed to compete with Beatlemania, and it certainly worked.
Now I'm a believer.
The song appeared in the show's 13th episode, and when it was released as a single, it exploded, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the final week of 1966, and remaining there for 6 more weeks in 1967. And it became the year's best-selling single and has since sold more than 10 million records, making it a worldwide pop landmark. Ironically, one of the Monkees themselves, Michael Nesmith, did not believe in the song's potential. He told producer Jeff Barry that he could not hear a hit in I'm a Believer, and that opinion cost him a place in the recording sessions. Without knowing it, he missed out on one of the decade's greatest musical phenomena. And yet entire generations ended up singing its chorus because some songs, no matter how simple they may seem, possess a spark that stays in our memories forever. Number 5. She Loves You by The Beatles. The story of She Loves You begins like many of the Beatles' early adventures. 2 friends with guitars in a hotel room, trying to write a new love song, but this time from an outside perspective, as though they were offering advice to someone else. They wanted something fresh and immediate, something that would electrify the young fans who already followed them with devotion. The inspiration came from Bobby Rydell's Forget Him, which gave them the idea for a 2-voice chorus that worked almost like a musical conversation. From that playful experiment came a phrase destined to become part of history. She loves you, followed by the irresistible, yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone loved it except Paul's father, who considered yeah too vulgar and suggested changing it to yes. Fortunately, no one listened, because that tiny detail perfectly captured the rebellious, optimistic, and innocent spirit of an entire generation. In the United Kingdom, the song was an immediate success, but its defining impact came in 1964, when the Beatles conquered the United States. That April, She Loves You became one of 5 Beatles singles occupying the top 5 spots on the Billboard chart at the same time. By then, it had already sold more than 11 million copies, securing its place as one of the band's most iconic songs. She Loves You is the pure sound of Beatlemania, powerful, infectious, and forever young. For those who grew up with this music, the opening chords are enough to carry us back, if only for a moment, to a time when anything seemed possible. Number 4, I Want to Hold Your Hand by The Beatles.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something.
In the early 1960s, the Lennon-McCartney songwriting partnership was at its most explosive. I Want to Hold Your Hand was not simply another catchy song. It was the rocket that blasted open the doors of the American market and the track that unleashed Beatlemania on a truly global scale.
I wanna hold your hand.
With its vibrant harmonies and the youthful spirit that defined the early Beatles, the single became their first #1 in the United States. Its impact was so enormous that earlier songs, overlooked when they were first released, suddenly began climbing the charts in its wake. It was as though the entire country had decided overnight to fall in love with the Beatles.
And when I touch you, I feel.
To this day, I Want to Hold Your Hand remains the band's best-selling single, with more than 12 million copies sold worldwide, and it also left a lasting mark on future artists. Recalling the first time he heard it, Ozzy Osbourne said that he went to bed in a black and white world and woke up in Technicolor. If 4 lads from Liverpool could change everything, he realized that he too could devote his life to music. The rest, as we know, is history. For fans, this song holds a special place because it captures the very essence of that bright, fast, infectious rock and roll that made so many of us, and so many of you, fall in love with the Beatles forever. Number 3, Sukiyaki by Q Sakamoto. Very few songs performed in a language other than English have reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and for nearly 6 decades, only one by an Asian artist achieved that feat. Q Sakamoto's Sukiyaki, a phenomenon no one saw coming. The question is inevitable. How did a song in Japanese win over American listeners in the 1960s? The story begins in 1961, when the track was already a hit in Japan. A young fan, the daughter of a Japan Airlines pilot, brought the record to California and played it for her classmates. They liked it so much that one of them asked to borrow it, and her father, who worked as a DJ, decided to play it on the radio that weekend. What happened next was completely unexpected. The phones would not stop ringing as listeners asked to hear it again. That spontaneous enthusiasm caught the attention of Capitol Records, which officially released the single in the United States. To everyone's surprise, the song reached #1 on the Billboard chart and remained there for 3 consecutive weeks. The phenomenon spread to many countries. With its gentle melody, Sakamoto's angelic voice, and lyrics filled with nostalgia, Sukiyaki went on to sell more than 13 million copies and became a global success. Perhaps the most extraordinary detail of its impact came during NASA's Gemini 7 mission, when the crew listened to an instrumental version of Sukiyaki over the spacecraft's radio. It was proof that this song did not merely conquer the Earth, it traveled into space as well. Number 2, Sugar, Sugar by the Archies. Few songs in pop history have an origin as unexpected as Sugar, Sugar. It was created specifically for an audience of 3- and 4-year-old children, yet it became one of the biggest hits of the entire decade. Against every rule, a melody written for a cartoon came to dominate charts around the world.
You are my candy girl.
The Archies were not a real band. They were a group of cartoon characters who appeared on Saturday morning television, a product designed to entertain young children rather than compete with the giants of rock. Behind that childlike facade, however, there was talent to spare. Songwriters Andy Kim and Jeff Barry gathered New York session musicians and rented a studio in the heart of Manhattan. Singer Tony Wine later recalled that the session was filled with laughter and an almost playful atmosphere. But when it ended, everyone knew one thing. They had recorded a hit. What they could not imagine was its scale.
I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling.
Sugar, Sugar spent 4 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 108 weeks at #1 in the United Kingdom. It was the best-selling song of 1969, outselling none other than the Beatles, the Jackson 5, Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, and Stevie Wonder. With more than 13 million copies sold, the decade's catchiest and most whistle-worthy melody became an absolute classic, reminding us that sometimes the simplest songs are the ones that end up conquering everything. Now tell me, which of these songs defined your youth? Leave its title in the comments. We read every one. Number 1, It's Now or Never by Elvis Presley. In the 1950s, Elvis Presley blazed like a comet that was impossible to ignore. He became the face of the new rock and roll, wild, young, and electric, inspiring an entire generation that would carry that street-born sound to the greatest heights. Yet as that golden era approached its end, Elvis still had one final trick up his sleeve, and it would be the biggest of them all. To this day, It's Now or Never remains the best-selling song of Elvis's career, with more than 20 million copies sold worldwide. What makes its story so surprising is that it grew out of an Italian classic, O Sole Mio. Elvis heard it while serving in the army in Germany and became fascinated by it. When he returned to the United States, he asked for an English version, and songwriters Aaron Schroeder and Wally Gold wrote it in just 30 minutes. It was a flash of inspiration that would change history. According to Priscilla Presley, it was Elvis's favorite song, and it is not difficult to understand why. With this recording, the king moved away from explosive rock and entered a more romantic, mature territory, revealing a different Elvis who was every bit as commanding. There was an unexpected legal twist. In Europe, O Sole Mio was still protected by copyright, so the song could not be released in the United Kingdom until the original composer, Edoardo di Capua, was added to the credits. When it finally appeared 2 months later, all that pent-up anticipation sent it straight to #1, where it stayed for 8 weeks, longer than any other Elvis single. Even today, that deep, warm, emotion-filled voice transforms the song into a timeless ballad. In 1960, Elvis may have been leaving behind the young rebel who changed music, but he did so as only a king could, by delivering the biggest hit of the entire decade. While these songs defined the entire 1960s, the following decade gave rise to recordings that broke every record and became the best-selling songs of rock's golden age. Click on the next video to discover the best-selling rock song of the 1970s. See you there, fellow rocker.